Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew McCabe, the number 2 at the FBI, Peter Strzok, who literally stated, "We will stop Trump," and Andrew McCabe, who right now is under criminal investigation for lying not once, not twice, but 3 times under oath, and also for leaking information that James Comey said he couldn't leak, even though he says that James Comey told him he could leak information. Ladies and gentlemen, they're not suing the FBI. They're both suing the FBI, okay? They're not taking the FBI to court, with Peter Strzok listing Christopher Wray as one of the defendants for wrongful termination because they think that Amy Klobuchar is going to give an inauguration speech eating salad with her comb, which is what she allegedly likes to do, which is really weird, but not as weird as eating soil and dirt like Beto O'Rourke to get healing powers, which is still not as weird as the ghosts and goblins and gnomes and fairies in Marianne Williamson's ethereal planes and worlds, which is still not as weird as Bernie Sanders wanting to run again after promoting the theory. You can put a word prior to that because the algorithm doesn't like you to say that phrase, but promoting a theory that although he was cheated by Deborah Wasserman Schultz, it is actually a national security concern that the Putin informed the country that he was cheated by hacking into the DNC, which of course was an assault on our democracy, even though what the Democrats did to their own candidate was an egregious violation of democratic protocol. Anyway, look, you know where I'm going with this, hopefully. I don't know where I'm going with this. They're not, okay, McCabe and Strzok are suing the FBI for one reason, to stall, to wait things out. The lawsuit is not going to be settled before December of 2020. Ain't going to happen. Now they're waiting for, it's around the corner at 2 minutes, 30 seconds in. They're waiting for Clinton to run again. Don't worry, I know, I'm not going to spend too much time on that, okay? That's just, one part of the whole story. They're waiting for Clinton to run again because when she runs again, everything is forgiven. All is forgiven. They know that the only chance they have is a Democrat in the White House. Once a Democrat becomes president again, you can rest assured that the Justice Department and the intelligence agencies will be the same extension of the Democratic Party and the same extension of the Oval Office as they were under President Obama. And before President Obama, they were extensions of the Bush administration. The notion that the Department of Justice was for the past 16 years, and even prior, but definitely for the past 16 years under President Obama and President Bush, the notion that they were autonomous. There is no autonomous agency or independent agency. They used to be. They used to be more independent. They were always beholden to the president in some way, shape, or form. Now, President Trump, one reason I love President Trump, he's fantastic in so many ways. Actually, today, yesterday, it's kind of hilarious. I went to my favorite coffee shop, one of my favorite coffee shops in Los Angeles. And I walked in, and I speak a little French. My French is not that great, but I speak enough to have a conversation. And the owner there is from Canada. And he was like, "Oh, okay, great, you came. I hadn't been there in a long time." And he's like, "Hey, great to see you." And then he remembered me when I was a Bernie Sanders supporter. So there were people around, and I was like, I don't want to get into it. So in French, I told him, "Look, I don't want to talk about it right now, but I like the president. I like the guy in the White House," I said. And so he looked at me. He was like, so it's in LA, it's like to the point where you have to speak French or another language just to tell somebody that you're voting for Trump and you like Trump, just so you don't have to deal with, and then still there was another lady there who worked with him, and she was kind of giving me like a look like, well, what's wrong with this guy? Or she was shocked at least. And so what is my point? Okay, my point is that President Trump is, if you like punk rock, and I love the Ramones, and I love punk rock. I a lot of great bands, the Pistols, a lot of great bands. The point is this: if you like punk rock, well, what was punk rock about? It was about initially being yourself, and being yourself to the point where it angered people, and not caring what other people thought of you. Now, to an extent, I cared because I spoke French and not English at the coffee place, and I was telling the guy, but at least I told the guy, hey, you know what? I'm no longer Bernie. I like the president. And then I kind of talked to him in English about, why, the reasons why. But the thing that President Trump does is that he completely upends the sanctimonious, self-righteous, nauseating political establishment. And he has shed a giant spotlight on recent events where somebody just happened to do something really horrible to themselves, And I get to that on H.A. Goodman's other channel. Check it out. It's already close to 6,000 subs. It's fantastic. And I'm completely uncensored, raw, unfiltered, don't care about any algorithm there. So check that out. Subscribe. It's below in the pinned comment. You'll love the segments. It's about that topic. Or a lot of the segments are about that topic. A lot of the segments are just, about a whole bunch of other different things. But he is putting their feet to the fire, so to speak. He is defeating them at their own game. He's manipulating the media to actually continually state things that the media now doesn't want to say, but they still have to say because Trump thrusts them into the limelight. They tried to get him on working with Russia, which is the most absurd thing ever. Then they say, oh my God, how can you believe in absurd things? John Durham is looking at Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, all of them for using a dossier that Clinton purchased that was complete and utter nonsense, bogus, ridiculous, helped further a hoax that then CrowdStrike said, a third-party tech firm outsourced by the Democratic Party. Then Alexander Downer linked to the Clinton Foundation. Then you have intelligence agencies utilizing that information, all linked to the Clinton Foundation, which is in my Federalist article below. Please, my Federalist articles below, please share them. And that one in particular was talked about by Rush Limbaugh on his show 2 days in a row, the fact that all the quote-unquote evidence is linked to Clinton. They would never allow that if the tables were turned, if the script was flipped, if the shoe were on the other foot. But with Trump, anything is warranted because they can't stand his personality. His personality, he's actually saving American society. You cannot allow the judgmental the judgmental fools who would condemn anyone because of just because of anything they say. It doesn't have to be racist or horrible or bigoted. They'll look into it, and because they want to wield their little momentary political power on social media, they just try to destroy people's lives and good people's lives for a joke. But then if it's Clinton, if it's Hillary, and she says, sorry, shouldn't have used that way of describing things, super predators, brought to heel, lack empathy. But she's not racist, and she will be the Democratic nominee in 2020. Don't believe the farce or the theater. But what Trump is doing, I guess, in this long-winded segment, they know that Trump's going to get them, that William Barr and John Durham are going to get them after the 2020 election. They could be indicted, McCabe and others could be indicted before the election, but the probe is going to be ongoing. It's not going to end before the election, because you just don't know what kind of criminal deeds, criminal actions Clinton is going to commit while she's running. But you have Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan. They're all backtracking. They all have egg on their face. They tried to get Trump. Didn't work out. Now he's investigating. John Durham's investigating. William Barr is also utilizing John Durham. And there's other investigations that are ongoing. What better way for Strzok and McCabe, both of them implicated in setting up and framing everyone around Trump, what better way for them to stall than to say, look, we were wrongfully terminated? And it was political pressure from the president. Well, guess what? The president runs the executive branch. The FBI is part of the executive branch. If the president, and that's under the Constitution, if the president doesn't like somebody or wants somebody fired, whether it's Comey or Strzok or McCabe, he can do so. He can do so. So, I mean, he's under the Constitution. He's allowed to do so. The rebuttal could be, well, maybe for the head of the FBI, but not for employees. Look, he didn't have anything to do with, or he didn't say, fire Strzok or fire McCabe. That was Sessions, and then that was under Sessions, the worst attorney general ever. The attorney general that President Trump doesn't take a moment, never fails to not insult or demean or disparage in some manner. So, okay. And thank God, at least one good thing, thank goodness from the no more message board reality nowadays, is that there is no more LMNOP. Gee, I wonder why. What happened? Where are the white hats now? That's right. It was all nonsense. And I told people a long time ago, one of the many things I've been right about. I'll be right about Clinton running. I was right about her losing. I'll be right about her running and losing again. And 8 years of Trump. In 2017, I stated in the Huffington Post, Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. But McCabe and Strzok are waiting for a Clinton White House. And that's it. That's really what it is. It's a Hail Mary. It's a last-ditch effort to simply say, look, we know our goose is cooked. We know that we've engaged in setting up and framing a duly elected president, trying to oust him. The fact that it's been exposed, mainstream, or I should say establishment, DC and media, they only create the reality, and they only look at the reality they want to be real. They want to see. They don't look at reality. They certainly don't look at reality, and they don't view things in the same. They don't have any value system. Their value system floats and changes along with what they want, the political influence they want to attain. So if it's a dossier, well, they're not going to use one against Clinton. You better believe that. But they'll use one against Trump. If it's an FBI agent that says, we'll stop Trump, well, if that person said, we'll stop Clinton, oh my God, the misogyny. Oh my goodness, he committed a human rights violation. If it's Trump, just political chatter. Relax, get over it. If it's Andrew McCabe who lied 3 times under oath, well, just whatever. If it's Michael Flynn, who actually initially they didn't say that he lied at all. But if it's Michael Flynn, oh my God, he lied to Peter Strzok. It's a big problem. Well, Andrew McCabe lied 3 times under oath. What's going on with that guy? He's under criminal investigation. Why hasn't he been indicted? So they don't have a set value system, which is why the average American can't stand the media and can't stand the Democratic Party. Now, what they don't realize is that even though Trump has negative favorability ratings, I stated this in 2015, 2016, his negative favorability ratings are not the same as the way Strzok is looked at, or McCabe, or especially Hillary Clinton. It's just not the way that he's like the heel in the WWF, WWE world. He's like the heel in professional wrestling. People love the bad guy in professional wrestling. They can't stand him, but they love to hate him. Okay, with Madame the Golden Muumuu, there's really nothing to like about Clinton other than the perceived ability to attain power or to regain the White House for Democrats. Very few people say, oh my God, she's accomplished so much, she's amazing. What? President Trump is the first president to step foot in North Korea. Okay, that alone, the first president to start a formal peace process between North and South Korea. That alone is an amazing accomplishment. Clinton can't even come close to that. Her accomplishments have all been negative. She's been very good at doing horrible things. She's the only official to use servers outside the U.S. government with top secret and special access program intelligence and 2,000 plus classified emails on them. President Trump has presided over a great economy. He signed criminal justice reform legislation, and Clinton helped further mass incarceration. So when she runs again, it'll also be very interesting because that'll vindicate everything I've said about the left. But you will see the erosion, the slow dismantling, the real-time erosion of the Democratic Party. Because you'll have Trump just trolling all the way onto it. And could you imagine, oh my God, crooked Hillary's running again. Oh, he needs to call her the Golden Muumuu. That's, oh my God, what a big honor that would be if he just said the Golden Muumuu. Come on, you can't even think of a better. If there's anybody from the White House watching, you can't think of a better nickname. And if he ever tweets the Golden Muumuu, oh my God, what a big honor it would be. But could you imagine when she decides to run, Trump, like, why even have a primary? She's going to win anyway. And then you'll see the Vox article, Trump without evidence, or no, the New York Times, Trump without evidence, baseless, says that there's no Democratic primary. But as you can see, there is a Democratic primary because there's a primary there, you see? And then there'll be like the one Bernie supporter, like, but Bernie was treated quiet. And so he just, Trump is like this mirror that shows them exactly who they are, and they can't stand they don't like the vision, they can't stand the vision, they don't want the vision, they don't want to see the vision. They don't want to see the vision, they can't stand it. They don't want to see who they really are. And Trump is that vision. Record low Black and Latino unemployment, yet it's all about his tweets. Prison reform legislation, yet it's all about his tweets. Wages up, record 50-year low in unemployment nationally. But it's about his sentiments. He also doesn't even say the words that they claim he says. So, ladies and gentlemen, you and I are going to take a journey for the next year and a half and beyond long into Trump's second term, and hopefully a Republican after, because I can't imagine the Democratic Party really, every time I think, I'm like, you know what, they're going to really actually have to regroup. No. They'll probably find some way to get people to hate them again in 2020, and when they lose. So, but the media will be much more generous or charitable or actually just objective. They'll be better to Trump. They really will. Because the media and intelligence officials are like serpents. They slither towards whatever shade is given to them by powerful people. And Democrats are hilarious. Like, see, even his intelligence community said Russia interfered. That is such a broad, vague, meaningless, vapid statement. They interfered. So what? How many votes were altered? Na 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 na. How about 0? Oh, well, you know what? Sorry, the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, and all of Hollywood and media were against Trump. If Russia interfered, which they didn't, what did they do? Oh, well, they informed the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated through DNC emails that say that, let's paint him as an atheist because Bernie Sanders being Jewish, it would be harder to beat. And notice how nobody talks about the DNC or campaign emails. Gee, I wonder why. Media and Democrats have successfully erased their own words. They're so sinister. They actually were caught in the act. They had their own words exposed, their own criminal, corrupt, diabolical words exposed, and they managed to wipe it off the slate of history, wipe it off memory. Not my memory, not your memory. But the consciousness of the American public, people don't talk about it. And that's not sustainable. So, I mean, there are too many things you want to talk about from a cosmic perspective, from an ethereal perspective. If Marianne Williams believes that nonsense or that stuff or that possibility or whatever, Democrats are losing in the ethereal planes also. Because that karma ain't good. If karma is associated with the scheming and they had Democratic operatives tried to foment violence at Trump rallies and 2 Democratic operatives. So if Project Veritas finds 2 Democratic operatives, how many more do you think were fomenting violence? I mean, these people are sinister. You could say what you like about, he used the word infested. He was talking about rats and mice, which no human being should live near. He's the antithesis of racist because Democrats are what was it? What's his name? The Daily Show. Trevor Noah was like, oh yeah, rats are great, ho 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 ho, and there's like a cartoon or whatever. It's like, no, he was talking about the actual rodents, like the creatures, the rodents, the creatures, not human beings. The point was human beings shouldn't live near these creatures, which is true. But Democrats are like, well, you know what? Whether or not whether or not human beings should live next to rats is completely irrelevant. Why is it that when he talks about this, he uses the word infested? So that's what you're going to focus on? Not the fact that in Democratic Party controlled districts that demand loyalty, because Democrats demand loyalty of every constituent group. That's what you focus on? You don't focus on the poverty where people have to live next to mice and rats? That's what you focus on? You don't focus on the fact that there's been systemic poverty in places run by Democrats. Why is that? Why is that? Anyway, give me your thoughts below. I know this, discussion went, kind of far away from the Comey-Strzok thing, but it actually didn't. Andrew McCabe and Peter Strzok and Comey and all of them worked to keep a paradigm alive. God bless Trump by his very existence is destroying that diabolical paradigm. Corrupt intelligence officials should not decide foreign policy or domestic policy. They should have absolutely nothing to do with the public discourse or culture or whatever. These people have one goal, is to keep American lives safe. And from their prior track record, they probably should be doing a better job and not focusing on stupid Facebook ads that nobody saw. Okay? Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very much. Oh, by the way, H.A. Goodman's other channel. Let's get that to 10,000 subs, even before Hillary runs. Because she's running. It ain't going to be Amy Klobuchar, and it ain't going to be Joe Biden. People who think, look, technically Joe Biden is the best candidate, but technically a beat up old car that barely works is better than a tricycle. So, I mean, is that good? You have a car that, like, the engine's about to fall out of the car, but what would you do? Would you just ride the tricycle down the freeway? No, you take your chances with the car. Joe Biden makes Mueller look like the micro machines guy from the 80s, the toy commercial guy. Okay, Mueller is like, completely lost it. Biden is even more so. So he doesn't want to run. He does not want. He got 1% in Iowa in 2008. 1%. If he got like 5 or 6 or 7%, it would still be bad. Still be bad. But at least he would have, at least there was maybe, a couple hundred people or a couple thousand people that in 2008 that liked him a lot. He got 1%, which would, what? Like in Iowa, what would that be in terms of the vote in 2008? 2,000-3,000 people for that. I know who, there are more people, there are very likely more people who like Amy Klobuchar. And nobody knows who Amy Klobuchar and Kristen Gillibrand could walk into any restaurant and nobody would know who they were. So, I mean, there's nobody, like Biden he has no chance. And if he's the number one person, who do you think they're waiting for? Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. Why aren't I 50 points ahead? You might ask. Clinton's running again. Hello? It's not, don't fall for this charade. Steve Bannon just twice in a week says the same thing I say every day. Then you have Greta Van Susteren, then you have the guy from Sky News, and you'll get the obligatory Washington Post, New York Times article. There's only one person can save us, and that person's the Golden Moo-Moo. Give me your thoughts. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. If one of my articles today is published, it will be below, and please go ahead and share that if it's below. Hopefully it gets published sometime this week. It's a very important one, and we'll see if it gets published this week, but letting you know, if it's up, definitely share it either today or sometime this week. Thank you so very, very much. My Patreon is below if you want to support my voice, but especially my other channel that's growing. Thank you.